Okay, this has nothing to do with jewelry, but just watch a minute. Even if you're one of my jewelry followers, just check out the garden. It's fun. It's for everyone. I originally wanted to do my channel with like gardening stuff too, like mixed in, and it just ended up being more jewelry for whatever reason. I may have to start a new channel, like a separate channel for gardening, because it often doesn't push content that's like unrelated to the majority of my other content. But anyways, these are my green stalks. Like, I'm obsessed with them. Look at them. This is a cabbage. It's hard to spin and film. I just have the phone in my hands. I don't know if I can make like a 10-minute video on here with this live like this, but we'll try. So here's a squash. I have eggplant. I have peppers on the top. I'm gonna stake them today. I really should have done it already because I'm gonna stake those and tie those up. The eggplants are starting. These are white. I think these are the Casper eggplants. I'm not even sure what kind of peppers because I didn't keep any labels in here, but they do have labels on the Greenstalk website, I believe. Look at this cabbage. So much less I can't talk. So much less pest pressure on the deck. So my deck is high up here. So there's so much less bugs and stuff to deal with up here. No wildlife to deal with. I have a gate. It's so much easier to garden up here. I do have a garden down in the yard. And I don't have a fence, and it does pretty good. But yeah, I like having this. It's basically my kitchen garden. If you're familiar with like permaculture principles or anything like that, basically this is my kitchen garden in the 2 green stalks. And the only things I don't really plant in the green stalks now are like large vining plants like my peas. So here's the peas. We eat these constantly. There's not many because you have to keep harvesting. I think because of all the rain, these got kind of curly. But yeah, the peas. And then down here, tons of peas. You can see those purple peas. They're like off the chain. There's so many peas. And sometimes I plant green beans here. Oh, there's cucamelon vining like crazy. I do have some lettuce and stuff just because those railing planters are handy. Me and my daughter just planted some strawberries down there. That tomatillo, so I have 2 tomatillo plants. I'm totally new. I've never grown those before. That one fell over in the storm, so it's looking a little sad, but it will recover, and I will tie up the, what I'll do. Hello. Hey, do you guys have any gardening questions? I don't even know how I take care of these plants for real life. Like, I don't even know how I fit it in. Sometimes I'm out here at like 6 o'clock in the morning with my daughter, but the gardening style that I do is, I would say, extremely low maintenance. I don't do half of what other people try to do for their garden. Like, my garden is one with nature. Like, it's hit or miss. Like, I basically plant a lot. I plant everything in multiple different ways. Like, I'll plant things on the deck in the green stalks. I'll plant things in containers. I plant things in the yard. I don't know if you can see the yard. And then I also have containers down here. We'll go down there. So, I plant things a bunch of different ways. I plant lots of things. I succession sow when I have time. You know, I just try to make it as low. How many days does it take for them to grow? Which, anything in specific, like, a long time. I started these early. Like, these green stalks I've been working on for a while, like months, to get them like this. It doesn't happen overnight, that's for sure. And yeah, I like the garden. I like eating from the garden. I just picked a squash this morning. We just always have like food handy whenever I want a salad, and honestly, we don't eat from it nearly as much as we could. Like, we could eat from this 10 times more, and I really wish we did, but with the busy life, that is challenging. But once you get it going, it's a lot of work in the early spring, but to get everything started, I didn't buy any plants, guys. Every single thing here is started from seed. Yeah, so the watering, so I don't know where you're located. You know, I'm in Zone 6, Connecticut, And we get a lot of rain in the spring and the summer. So there's days where I could skip, and I do just hang my hose here. So I do like hand watering. I hang my hose with the sprayer, which makes it super easy. And I just fill the tops of the green stalks. You have to fill them till they're draining out the bottom. And that's why, I don't know, it's just easy. But yeah, if you're in a really hot, dry place, you may want to look into drip systems and things like that, because the watering is a bit of work, but it's also fun, and it's also an important part of gardening, and why a lot of people favor hand watering, because it gets you out in the garden and gets you out there observing your plants. You want to observe, because when you observe your plants and you're out there hand watering, you're getting to know the different pests, the different wildlife. You're getting to know what your plants are doing. You're observing them every day, so you can notice changes, and changes happen fast. So I want to show you. So look at this cabbage, looks great. I have another cabbage that got a little eaten. This one, literally one day I was out here, this cabbage was perfect. The next day I was out here, it was all chewed. I found the green caterpillars, the cabbage worms. There's two different kinds of caterpillars that like to eat. The green ones that go on the tops, and then there's a different kind that will go underneath the leaves. Oh, I just found a dead one. So that's a dead one. He's smushed. Yeah, look at this cabbage. So easy. And then when I plant them in the yard, because I don't have a fence, the gopher likes to bite them. But up here, it was so easy. I did spray BT. I try to do organic gardening as much as possible, but the BT just kills the worms. It's just so easy to spray. It's a bacteria. It's approved for organic gardening. I use it very sparingly, just in case, like if I have to. But this one was gonna be a goner, because it's so hard to pick off the worms manually. So I did spray all the cabbage with BT, and I will probably do it like once more before I leave on vacation. But besides that, I have not sprayed anything else on my plants at all this year. That was the only thing I've done, and I did it one time. So, happy birthday. Any like gardening questions? Tell me, does anybody know like what zone you're in? All right, so this is like the deck garden with the green stalks. I will post a link when I post this video in the description. I love green stalks. Like, this has made my gardening life so much easier. Like, so much easier. This is so much food, guys. And I do have flowers. Like, this is bee balm, nasturtium. I always plant for the pollinators as well. Like, huge heads of lettuce. Like, look at this. This one might go to seed because it's hot. But that's like a huge head of lettuce. Here's more lettuce, and you could just cut some. This is like a weird vining spinach. Get this. This is like Swiss chard. I have like bush peas. I have bush green beans starting in here. It really is. Like, I love it out here. So before, so we'll go down a little bit. You can see this level of the deck. Before I had two little kids, I spent a lot of time out here in the early mornings, especially in the summer, because it does get very hot and muggy. So this area took a bit of a hit because there was like a storm last night. These are tomatillos that I have never grown before. I do have to plant like obviously they're ginormous plants. So huge things like that don't really work in the green stock. So I do plant them in containers, and we kind of use the deck as a little bit of support. This is cucamelon. If you like cucumbers, you have to grow these. These are like bite-sized cucumbers. So I come out here every morning. The birds are crazy here, especially after the rain. So I come out here every morning and I eat like a little pre-breakfast. These melons, they're not even really melons. They're literally bite-sized cucumbers. You just eat them like this. Yeah, I know. We were getting tornado warnings yesterday. It was crazy, but it wasn't in this immediate area. We're actually in an area that was getting them. Here's the beetles. So these are invasive. You can pick them off and stomp them. Now they have traps for the beetles because they will eat everything. Now the traps do attract them, so you need to put the traps as far away as you can from your garden. and I'll be forced to do it. Like a lot of people say don't do the traps because it brings them from like miles, but I did it last year. I had to do it. I planted it in the front yard, like away from the garden, over on the other side of the house, and it worked. So I'll be forced to do it, especially when we leave on vacation, because I won't be able to come out here and like knock the beetles off and stomp them. They're very fun for kids to stomp. I don't know if that grosses you guys out. Are you in the northeast? Oh, maybe that's the Fran that I know, not sure. Probably. The lives are so much easier. Like I can't deal with YouTube and uploading. It's such a hassle. I'm just gonna do live videos, I think, from now on. I think they just go out to my subscribers. I don't know if you can hear me crunching. And I just remove any like disease leaves. Those circles are fungal. But look, I literally, nobody else in my family will eat these. But I just come out here and eat them. And with pretty much anything where you pick fruit or beans or whatever, you need to pick, harvest, harvest, harvest. The more you harvest, the more to grow. Even with lettuce or really any plant, the more you harvest, the more it'll grow. Okay, Fran, that's what I thought it was you. I was telling you this morning I couldn't do YouTube videos because it's such a hassle. What the heck? The lives are so much easier. I'm just gonna do lives from now on. I like interacting. Look at these. I love eating these. So these are like shelling peas if you let them grow, but if you eat them small, you can just eat them. Look at how many there are. Can you hear me crunching, guys? Hopefully that's not rude. But it's so fun. My kids love these. Even my 1-year-old baby will eat these peas. You like chews them up and kind of like spits out the fibrous parts. It's pretty funny if he can't get them down, but he'll keep chewing and like stuffing them in. All right, so this is the middle level of the deck. The Greenstalks are up there. The middle level with plants that are way too big. And you don't want like to leave anything on the plant that is like big, because the plant senses if things have gone to seed and it thinks its job is over. So it's very important to keep picking. It's like Dory. Instead of keep on swimming, we're just going to keep on picking. Keep on picking. All right. Let's go down here. My garden is messy. I have low signal out here, so I'm not sure what's going to happen. My garden is very messy. There's always a mess. And that's fine. I have just little, like, some hostas that I dug up. These are eggplants I gotta get. I gotta dump this water. This is a pepper, like probably a cucumber. And just some regular, like, plants that need to go in the ground, like not edible plants. This was just stuff that ended up growing grass, sunflower. I also have succulents indoors. And when I can't keep, when they're like just a hassle, I literally stick them outside and it's survival of the fittest. We have strawberries here. They'll probably go in the garden, or I might just keep them in the container. I don't know. This is oregano. This huge plant, it's gonna go to seed. It's gonna flower. It's just growing right in the gravel here. We kind of just sacrificed this gravel because it was too hard to keep up with the weeds. But I kind of keep the weeds that I like the oregano and the catnip and the chamomile. I'll show you. Is this a squash? This is a squash in a container. The bees sleep in here. And you can eat the blossoms. It's a delicacy. But I never pick the ones with the bees sleeping in them. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any like random gardening questions. So some of these are just weeds here, but oregano. This is sage. It's a biennial. I believe it's a biennial. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like this one flowered, will go to seed, and I don't think it will come back next year. This is like a new one that will come back next year, flower, go to seed, and the process continues. But I'm not 100% because this has a ton of like fresh growth too that didn't. So I'm not sure about that. Mitt. This is an eggplant that just on the struggle bus, I put it out too early. Remember, like hot weather loving plants, when you put them out early, you can kind of stunt them if you put them out before it gets warm enough. And I literally use weeds to mulch the plants. And there's weeds everywhere and they're fine. So this is yellow chamomile. It's not like the traditional German, but you can use it. And we have a pest here. I think these are aphids. And the ants eat something. I think the waste of the aphids. I'm not sure. If somebody knows something else, tell me, but see the little bugs, but I don't think they're hurting anything. Certain plants that are weeds can like kind of act as a trap where certain pests will go to that plant versus other edible plants in your garden. So I really don't do anything unless it's causing, like damaging something that I want to eat. Or if it looks really bad or dead, then I'll just chop it. This is a pumpkin. These are little pumpkins that you can eat or just have decorations. I think these are the Jack Be Little. There's so many of them. This is my first time growing this. They seem to be doing good right here. This peas was kind of like a crazy mess with the a catnip. I really got to cut that catnip because it's gonna all go to seed and then there's gonna be catnip everywhere. Literally, that's how tall the catnip grows. It's like left, but then this is also peas on the trellis from the container. And I just have some flowers here, more weeds, oregano. Just dump out this bucket. It's not really safe for kids. Over here I have more cucamelon. It's very shaded, but it's probably going to explode as it gets hotter. And then in the bottom of the cucamelon, this is a weed I'll just pull out. It's not, you don't have to freak out about weeds. I just sort of pull them out if they're bigger than the plants. This is from a pest usually, so I'll pick that off. But these are green beans. So I'll have green beans in the bottom of the container and the vining cucamelon growing up. Pretty cool, right? And then over here, I've never done like a garden tour, so this is fun. More chamomile, and this one doesn't seem to have the same pest, and it's very close, so it's weird. The daisies, the poppies, black swan poppies, which I believe will reseed. These are all sunflowers. There is some sort of pest eating those, so we'll have to just see. Look at these poppies. I don't know if you're supposed to stake them. They're so gorgeous. This is the first time you have to start these seeds. I started them directly in the garden very, very early. This is wild garlic that you can eat. And then there's lemon balm in here. The beetles are really getting to things. I gotta put the trap out. I think I have one. I think it's the beetles maybe doing this. Tell me if you know. But anyways, coneflower, salvia. It's just a mess of weeds, honestly, but a lot of pollinators are coming to this area. There's lupine in here, and sometimes I do make this nicer and mulch it, but I didn't get to it this year. Like early spring mulch around the plants that I want to keep the weeds back, but it's like kind of an isolated little triangle here. And then right next to the garden, there's cucumbers that will grow and hopefully grow onto this trellis. And we should have cucumbers already. I don't see any. This is an artichoke. I just wanted to see what would happen if we had time to grow it here, or what would happen. So in slightly warmer climates, you can grow these as a perennial, but not in zone 6, I don't think. So we'll see what happens. This is all my garlic. Oh, I missed a scape. It's a big scape. So you have to cut these scapes. I don't have scissors. These are hard. I need to get scissors and cut that scape. But these are gonna be ready soon for pulling. They kind of die like that, yellow, and they're getting close to pulling. Oregano, lemon balm, and again, some years I do mulch this better, but I wasn't gonna get mulch this year. It's unnecessary. I'll just chop any areas, like if I'm having a problem with slugs, so the slugs don't get into the beds. Oregano, more, I don't know what. Squash, pumpkins, what do we have? These look like the pumpkins. It's like freezing on my end, so I can't tell. So this bed I'm just gonna let go to the strawberries. There's sorrel. I stuck a tomato in here. I stuck green beans in here. This is kale that went to seed. You can't, not really now, but you can eat these pods when they're small. And a lot of beetles are on the strawberries. All right, so we're definitely hanging the beetle trap today. I have thyme, lavender. Those, I believe, are all cilantro flowers. Will all go to seed. I'll have tons of cilantro every year. The chives I could probably cut back, so they're past their prime here. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of work in here because it's gonna get too wet because it's so crowded, but as you can see, it's like a very wild, natural garden, but we get tons and tons of food. Not everything works out, but we get tons and tons of food. Tomatoes, a pepper. These are right in the ground. These peppers, I don't know. I think they will catch up. And I just move them, I just get the weeds like right next to them. This is celery. And I haven't even really fertilized, guys. The weeds don't really take away too much. These I might want to try fertilizing because they're very slow, but I think I put them out too early. These are just all bush beans here. The eggplants didn't work out over here. They did so much better in the Greenstalk. Something is eating them. Probably that little green, these little green bugs. Don't know what those are, but they're eating the egg. Look, they totally, so some things don't work out and that's okay. First of all, I have peppers I could stick here. I'll try something else that will work. So those will probably get taken out and I'll clear some space, pull the weeds, mulch, add some fertilizer to the soil, and maybe try a tomato or a pepper right there, since those bugs are eating the eggplants right there. So I'm not gonna try more eggplants right there right now. These are all turnips. See? Turnip. There's a bunch of them. We gotta eat these. They're gonna get bitter probably with the heat. There's this lovely spider web here. I don't see the spider. Oh, I do. I see a spider, and the spider is doing its job, and it's eating those nasty little bugs that are eating my eggplant. Can you see it? There it is. So that's lovely. I really appreciate that spider. I do everything to try to keep spiders, ladybugs, wasps are all beneficial, eating other bugs for me. So that's my pest control right there. This is kale. Look at how cool this is. Look at how big it is. Great. I don't know what variety this is. It's like frilly or curly. It's not like the traditional curly kale. So yeah, my garden's a lot different than what you're used to seeing, but there's more than one way to garden. You can have what seems like a mess or whatever to some people who like an orderly garden, but the bugs are, you know, doing their jobs. And I just kind of go with the flow. So it's not a lot of maintenance. Some areas I'll get food, some areas I won't. This is fennel in here. This is like a huge onion or allium of some kind. Not sure if I should, I think it might just be a leek. Well, I'll grab weeds that are like causing problems. I'll grab like dead leaves out, but I don't go crazy. I just kind of do it when I'm walking by. This is all cilantro. But these are great little landing pads for tiny bees, pollinators. Peas, more peas everywhere. And these will get chopped, like when they start to die because it's too hot. will get taken out. I'll stick something else right there. What is this? More squash in a grow bag? Cucumber. Look, I already have cucumber. I could pick this right now. We'll give it another day or two. Again, just keep picking. Don't leave anything huge, any huge beans or cucumbers or anything on these peas. See these fat ones? Those gotta go because it's gonna think that it's done. All right, let's see what's going on. Okay, we're at 25 minutes and I didn't think I could make a video. Anybody have any gardening questions before I wrap up the little garden tour? Somebody retracted their message. I didn't see it, so I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was like, your garden's a hot mess. It doesn't matter. I get tons and tons of food with very little work. Alright, that was pretty much the garden tour. A small, wild, happy garden. You get tons and tons of food. Not everything works out in every area, but it's full of pollinators doing their job, and it's full of natural pest control with spiders and bugs, except for the beetles, because those are introduced, invasive. There's not really a predator for them, so I'm going to be forced to hang the beetle bags. I don't really have another choice because they will demolish everything. All right, thank you guys. So thank you. It's really nice. And last year was totally different. It was 10 feet tall sunflowers, tomatoes, but because we had a lot of blight last year, a lot of fungal from all the rain, I just grew different things in this area today. So if those spores are here, that blight doesn't really attack these different kinds of plants. I planted like literally I have like this tomato and that tomato. I'll be just and those will make plenty of tomatoes. I ate so many tomatoes last year, I was like sick of it. So yeah, and just keep in mind what pests were really bad last year, and maybe just don't plant those plants, because you want to kind of give that pest, whether it's a fungal spore, whether it's a certain pest insect, like maybe don't feed those things this year and plant different kinds of plants. Try something new that maybe those pests don't like. Alrighty, so we're going on 30 minutes. Thank you all for watching. Let me know if you like this kind of content, because I'm probably just going to do lives from now on with the garden and the jewelry, and let me know what else. Maybe the succulents, because the uploading is too time consuming in the summer. I want to be obviously outside. That's all lavender, the purple, and then the other flowers are the thyme, and then the dead flowers are the chives, and the white flowers are the cilantro. This is all stuff that just comes back every year. I do nothing. Same with the lemon balm, the oregano. All right, that's enough for now. We don't need it to be longer than 30 minutes. Thank you guys for stopping in. Have a great Sunday. Have a great rest of your weekend.